All right, here we go. It's another wonderful morning. I have been able to mostly keep up with my uploads. I fell behind a little bit yesterday, as I tend to do on Tuesdays, because I occupy my time with other stuff on Tuesdays. But that's okay, because I get ahead and stay ahead for this very reason. So we're still doing fine, and if anything works out the way that I hope it works out, I'll go to the gym today after work. I keep doing late days in the office, and that is like a surefire way to eliminate my gym time. Is I will just instead of go to the gym, I will come straight home, because I allocate time to all the things that I do. And so I allocate an hour to the gym time. But if I'm leaving work an hour late, there goes my gym hour. And I mean, it's all about prioritizing. As much as I would like to have like the body of a Greek god, I have to face the reality that that's not my passion and that's not my reality. But that doesn't mean that I can't do my part to try and keep myself in better shape. And that's mostly what I leverage the gym for. I really should get in the habit of doing like these morning calisthenic routines and these pre-dinner workouts too. And just like the more exercise I can get, the more active I can be, the better off I am for the life that I choose to live. And people say this a lot, but it is a lot easier to prevent something than it is to correct it after it has happened. And that's not to say that prevention is easy. Like, by no means is making time for the gym, eating right, and all of these things an easy choice for me. The gym is a prime example of that, because I don't oftentimes make time for it. I oftentimes just kind of do my own thing and let whatever happens happen. But I really do need to start getting better there. But just the act of doing what I have done is still a big deal. And like I said, it goes back to the idea that prevention is easier than just downright solving the problem. And I would much rather work to prevent creating a problem than work to then have to do the work to fix the problem once it's already occurred. And it's another, I watch all these videos, these random videos about things in life that appeal to me or that I find appealing, and then hope to relay them back to you through my own lens and through my own telescope, and see if you at all agree with it. But in all honesty, it's interesting to me, because you never really know how people will interpret things. But there's this friend of mine on Xbox, and he has a large group of friends, a large following of people, if you will, and they all have some deep-seated drama amongst them. But one of the things that he frequently talks about is he feels like one of these, well, he knows for a fact that one of his friends is grossly overweight, and he feels like the other one is, because he refuses to actually be seen in person with any of them. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily indicate that he is grossly overweight. It could just indicate that he doesn't want to be seen in person with them. But at any rate, it got me thinking, because we were talking about that or whatever, and it continues to ring home to me, the idea, because like, who knows like this, the one that he is aware of that is definitely having issues. Who knows what led up to that? Like, we don't know the history of that, but now that like he is so far gone and he is so deep into that rabbit hole, it is very hard for him to turn back and to do something else. And I think the same can be said about a lot of things, a lot of bad habits, a lot of ugly things that happen. But I especially think that is the case with weight and weight loss and weight gaining. I eat very healthily. I don't exercise as much as I would like to. And I recently had this big revelation. It was something that I revealed here on this channel, actually, about having gone up of pant size. And that's really kind of where it all happens. Like, I have spent the first, probably I would say, if I was being honest with myself, the first 27, well, no, that's not even right, because like it can't be the first 27 years of my life, because I was a child for a long period of it. I probably, from 8th grade, freshman year, somewhere around there, until just about somewhere around last year, was wearing the same pant size. So we'll say I give myself a decade. I've spent a decade on the same pant size, and then I officially went up a pant size, and it's not all that dramatic, because I was a 32 before, I'm a 34 now. I'm still pretty good on that, but it is a sign that like my body is starting to change and be more receptive of the things that I put in it. And as a result of that, I need to kind of counteract it, counterbalance it, what have you. Like I said, I wish that I could peg down a workout routine that I can enjoy and that I don't loathe. But that isn't my passion in life. Like, creation is my passion. And if I had time, what I would really do, if I had time and money, what I would really do, what I think would work best for me, is I would hire a personal trainer who could feel more like a friend and less like a personal trainer, and let them be my outlet and push me to the heights that I need to achieve. Because if I felt like I was hanging out with someone in the gym, or I was doing something fun or whatever, then I feel like it'd be a lot more productive. But when I'm in there by myself, just doing my thing, running the numbers, all I can really think about is like getting out. And I did, for a short period of time, do personal training with somebody, and I feel like that was successful. Had we have stuck to it, we would have really been able to do something. But that just wasn't in the cards for us. Well, definitely wasn't in the cards for me at the time. But yeah, and it maybe is something to look into and to try and better understand. But at this current stage in life, at this current moment in time, I have not gotten that, and I don't feel that I will, or that I'm that ready for it. But if I build good habits now, then not only should it be preventing the overall weight gain that I'm looking to avoid, but it should also be should also be more helpful to where if the weight gain gets to a point that I can no longer tolerate, or I no longer like it, then I can attack it with some more ferocity and get it on out the way. And so those are the goals there, really, is to beat it down to a point where it is no longer powerful, no longer relevant. And then if it does become a problem, I've already put good exercises and good measures in place to keep it from becoming a bigger problem. And that is, in my opinion, good actions to have taken. Now, I will always say that I wish I was more active at this point in time in my life so that I could be more preventative of these things. But the reality of it is, I have not been, that's just not who I am. And facing that reality is equal parts difficult and healthy, I believe. Because, like, okay, this isn't who I am. I'm going to work through that and figure out a way to get out there and do what needs to be done. But I also need to be able to recognize, like, you're not, at least you've yet to find a way to enjoy it, but chances are you're not going to enjoy this. So try and get it buttoned up, wrapped up. Try and just make it a necessary evil. Make it like, I've almost built it into my work schedule, which is a good way to do it. I have pretty much just said, like, okay, after work I do this, and then I go home. And making it a part of the work schedule has helped, because obviously as a working adult you already have a lot of stuff on your schedule that you don't necessarily want to do. And so having something else on there that's like, oh, I didn't really want to do this, but I guess I will, helps. So that is my hopes and intentions with the whole thing, is to just be able to really build good habits to try and start preventing things, and then when the inevitable happens, attack or double down on those pre-established habits and use them to completely break the bad habits. So hopefully we can reach a good place where those habits happen and continue to happen, and hopefully they keep me in a physique that I can appreciate. I'll always want more. That's kind of my my bane in life, is I'm always striving for bigger, badder, better, more. But to the same end, I can recognize that, like, we have a limited amount of time on this planet, and would I rather spend that time in the gym cranking out the perfect chiseled body, or would I rather spend that time being a creative genius? And I prefer creative genius over gym thing, but I'm still going to do gym thing because I don't want to be I really don't want to be overweight. That's my biggest thing. And, like, I don't know that I necessarily feel like, well, I'm definitely not overweight now, but I don't know that I necessarily feel like that will ever be a total reality. I think I lucked out in the gene pool on that one. But, like, as people age, they get bigger. That's just the natural cycle of things. But if I could find a way to counteract it, even just by 30%, that would feel pretty good. And building these habits now, when I don't need to have them in place, I think is huge. And as I start entering my third decade of life and beyond, I think it's going to be very crucial that I stick with these habits and I'm able to maintain and become more fit, more agile, more all of the things that I want to be. So it's an exciting time, and it's a good mindset to have, and I would express that on anybody. If you're looking at something, or if you're afraid of something, then, like, just know that it is easier to prevent it than it is to correct it. Like, once something has happened, it is very hard to reverse, but it is very easy to prevent it from having happened. And that mindset needs to drive you into being better and maintaining and all of those things. I really hoped and wished that that mentality maybe could have hit me sooner in life, but I think that it's fine the way it is. And like I said, it's very important to point out that those preventative measures are not easy. They're easier than corrective measures, but they are not easy. Just think about like anything else in life. Like work is a good one for me. We work to try and be proactive instead of reactive. But the reality of the working environment is you are probably at least 80% of the time being reactive. And that is not good. And so life is no different. You are probably, I would say maybe, depending on how well established you are, I would say you're probably averaging about 60 to 70% reacting to life. And when you're living in a constant state of reaction, it is hard to take control of your life and be proactive and be like, you know what? No, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be physically active. I'm going to prevent something from happening rather than try and reverse it when it does. And so that's not to say that it is just this terribly easy thing to do, but it is more easy than, like I said, preventing it once it's hit. The whole idea of weight loss is a great example of that, because going back to my friend and his friend that he was talking about, is he has these spouts where he does really well and he loses tons of weight, but then he'll rebound and gain it all back and then some. And that is the discipline that is very hard. And if you have raised yourself on certain eating habits, it's very difficult to break those habits and to eat differently or eat less even. I can remember when I was a much younger man, like we're talking early 20s, well, definitely like when I was a teenager, but like definitely early 20s or so, I could put away some serious food and not seem worse for wear for it. And that was the cause of much anguish around my older peers who could eat all of these foods and gain 20 pounds just for having thought about it. But I also was responsible with my food intake too, as I slowed down at work and stopped being so active. Back then in the 20s, I was a lot associate. I was just loading customers and loading stuff, and I was running carts. I was very active in my work, so eating that much wasn't all that big of a deal. But as I slowed down in my work and I stopped getting the 10,000 steps a day, I stopped doing all of the things that I normally would do, I then began to slow down my food intake, and it just made sense. Like, I'm moving less, so I should be eating less. And it sucked at first. I was like constantly hungry, craving more food, wanting more food. But eventually my body adapted. They're like, okay, this is the amount of fuel you're giving me. I can work with that. And it's all about discipline and forming good habits. So if you take nothing else from this video, just remember to try and form good habits early to prevent something rather than work to reverse it when it does. I have 0 minutes left on my camera, so I'm going to stop you right there.